Good morning and welcome to Ask the Security Guy. I am Holly Magnuson. I'm here with Shawn Kohrman. Good morning, Shawn.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. We got a lot to cover today. I'm very excited about. Just a reminder that if with watching this through YouTube, you should see in the lower left-hand corner a link that says join the conversation. If you've got a question for Shawn or a comment, please feel free to click on that and you'll be taken to the Q&A app and you can ask your question or make your comment. So with that, Shawn, why don't you give us an update on the Apple versus FBI saga?
Oh boy, drama indeed. So, latest news on FBI versus Apple. The FBI has actually dropped the case. And the reason they are dropping the case is they supposedly have found another means of accessing the phone that does not require Apple's help. There's some speculation that an outside contractor was involved. There was a name thrown out there. Now it's being debated. As of right now, I don't have 100% certainty as to who helped them or how the hack was done. Interestingly enough, neither does Apple. So they're more than a little interested in how somebody broke their security and have reached out and asked the FBI how they broke their security. And given all the drama that's led up to this point, you can imagine the FBI is somewhat reluctant to release that information back to Apple. That aside, and the drama and associated snark with it, this is opening a can of worms because now we have full recognition that the FBI has something that works. And I have seen news articles that indicate that they are helping other law enforcement agencies across the country with similar models of phones access the devices that they have that are locked up that Apple either will not or has not gotten to helping them access. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see if this pops up its head again. There's a lot of speculation in the media right now saying that this isn't done, it's just deferred. And I think that's a fair statement. I think we'll see something like this come up again before too much longer.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
Yeah, and it's such a tough thing because it's this battle between people's privacy and their privacy rights versus the needs of law enforcement to be able to access things for evidence and hopefully the prevention of future events. And it's just it's a tightrope. It's a really tough thing. So with that said, I did want to spend some time today and focus on really the security top 10. Top 10 things that you can do in the coming year to make sure that you're employing good practices to protect your own security of your family when we're dealing with the online world at least. So to start out, number 10, and this is always present, watch out for social engineering attacks. And Holly, I know you love this one.
I do. I so love this.
When we do our in-person training sessions, we always have a rich discussion with our participants about the different ways that social engineering works. And you had some recent examples that you were sharing with me before the show.
Yeah, one of the big things I've seen a lot is getting friend requests from people I'm already friends with, and and I pointed out to them, and they always come back with, "Oh no, I've been hacked again," and trying to help them understand that no, you weren't hacked because they created a new account. They're spoofing the account and trying to explain to people, look at your privacy settings on Facebook. The last one. Bless her heart, her entire profile is public to the world.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I took the URL and went into an incognito, Chrome session, and there's all our information, and I wasn't logged into Facebook. So, trying to help people understand. That's one of the biggest social engineering things happening right now that I'm experiencing personally.
Yep, and one of the things that we're seeing is just this continued barrage of phishing attacks primarily coming in through email, but we're also seeing them coming in through social media outlets. Click on this link, ask a question, a variety of things, and also through texting, random text messages, and then the oldies but goodies, phone calls from random people asking you to confirm information that just out of the blue. And their version of confirming information is you telling them what your information is, not them telling you and asking you yes or no. So it's a subtle trick, but it works so well. So just watch out for those things. They come in all shapes and sizes, and you'll even get stuff in the mail, the regular old snail mail.
Yep.
That's still alive and well. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's still alive and well. Number 9, another favorite of mine. Make sure your phone is locked. You have some kind of PIN code, password, fingerprint, something. Something's better than nothing. I get a lot of people asking me what's the best way. The best way is to have something enabled. That's not an obvious, you don't want a PIN code lock that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, come on. But at the same time, having something on your phone is better than nothing. If your phone's laying around, most of us have our personal email address, some kind of social media, personal information, phones, pictures, those kinds of things, phone numbers for other contacts. That is not the information you want in the hands of somebody with malicious intent. And as we saw with the work that Symantec did with their Honey Stick project, I mean, they pointed out people were browsing around these phones that they deliberately lost. And the people that were browsing around them weren't hackers. They were just everyday folks going into their social media, their email, confidential files, pictures, and anything that looked sensitive got extra attention.
Yeah, and we will put a link on. Make sure there's a link on that with the show notes.
Yeah, and it's so. We live with these devices now. They're permanently attached to us anymore, and there's more and more data on them about us. I mean, think about it. If you have a Fitbit, that ties to your phone via Bluetooth, well, that's sending a lot of your health information to your phone. Now, right now, that may be benign, and right now it may be useless. But as the amount of data that is transferred between these devices increases and the types of data increases, the risk increases. So make sure that every device you have, you're the only one that can access it. So, and then number 8, and this is another personal favorite that people just love to hear. Back up your computer automatically. If you have a Mac, you've got a wonderful little program called Time Machine. It is a backup program that is awesome. Windows 10 especially, has a similar backup program that works extremely well. If your computer is compromised by ransomware, if a hard drive fails, pick your disaster. You spilled your coffee cup on your laptop and fried the whole thing. You want to have your data back. Now we're seeing a lot of people move more and more of their data into the cloud, and that's fine, that's great. But if you have files on your computer or programs that are hard to replace, having that backup can really be a lifesaver, and it can save you just a lot of time. And even if you're doing a simple hardware upgrade, some of those upgrades can require you to reinstall. If you have a good backup, you're good to go. If you don't, you're going to spend a long day growling at your computer. Not that we know anybody who's going through that right now, even with good backups.
Yes. We won't mention names.
No, we're not going to mention names. The guilty will announce themselves, I'm sure. So another one that is I mean, we think about, we know about it, and I get, I also get questions about what's the best one, is number 7, install antivirus. So, I'm not going to miss an opportunity here. There's an old myth that Macs don't need antivirus. It is exactly that. It's a myth. There's a incredibly fast-growing number of Mac-based malware out there, and it's for all devices, not just the laptops, but there's malware out there for phones, tablets, all kinds of stuff. The same is true in the Android world, and obviously Windows. So antivirus is not a thing that you're just going to put on your Windows machine because, well, let's face it, it's Windows. It's the same thing. You're going to put it on your phone, you're going to put it on your tablet, you're going to put it on every device you have. Some of the top antivirus providers out there in the free realm are Avast, AVG, Bitdefender, Checkpoint. Zone Alarm is out there now. Zone Alarm is an oldie but goodie that Checkpoint bought and really breathed some new life into. But there's all kinds of free ones. There's another one called Panda even. So that you can think of those as your top 5.
All right, question. Like I have Time Warner, and part of Time Warner's thing is we can have a free copy of the McAfee.
Use it.
Yeah, because McAfee has gotten a bad.
Yeah, if your ISP is offering up a free copy of antivirus, use it.
Yeah, McAfee at times has had kind of a bad reputation, and so
they have. Yeah. And honestly, most antivirus companies have had major debacles at one point in their history or another. And there's usability stories galore about each and every one of them, horror stories. Antivirus did this or did that, or blew up my computer or whatever. So which one is best? A half dozen of one, 6 of the other. They all do something and they do it well. My personal preference, for those that are, if anybody's curious, is a company called ESET, E-S-E-T. That's the one I use at home. It is a paid product because in the world of antivirus, while free is better than nothing, I kind of go along the track of you get what you pay for. It's not that expensive, but at the same time, there's a cost associated with it. Now, for me, what I got with my license was unlimited devices. So I have it on my phone, I have it on my tablet. I can install it on anything for the cost of the one license I purchased for one of my computers. But at the same time, if you are subscription based, you've gone out, you spent the money on a commercial product for your home computers, keep the subscription current. Because if you don't, and that thing stops updating, you're immediately as vulnerable again, and you might as well not even have it. So, it's just, think of it. You change oil in your car. Why wouldn't you take, preventive maintenance for your computer as well? So, number 6, lock down your wireless router. Now, I think I would venture to say that everybody watching this show has some kind of wireless router in their home. I could be wrong. It's been known to happen, but I think that's a reasonable guess. What I hear a lot of, I set my wireless password to be really easy. It's blah, 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 blah. And that gives me a small coronary, and subsequently I don't attach to their wireless. Because at the end of the day, if their wireless password is that easy, it's that easy for anybody else to hook up to and ride on to and to guess at. So, make sure whatever your wireless password is at home, it's something, long. And it's not something you're going to be typing in frequently anyway, because, once you set up a device, it's going to store that password. So it doesn't need to be something that's really short and really easy for you. It needs to be something that you can access when necessary from a secure mode, like a password manager. So, but longer and stronger is better. So, number 5. And to clarify a little bit, we're borrowing the top 10 that was provided from Lifehacker. And I read the list, loved the list, agree with it. There's other top 10s out there. I thought this one was really pertinent. I don't entirely agree with this one, because what Lifehacker says is never send sensitive information over email unless it's encrypted. I'm going to take it a step further. Don't ever send sensitive information in email. Just don't. Email as a system, as a technology, was never designed to be secure. Now, we've got multiple hacks out there and multiple systems trying to secure it and trying to make encrypted email work. And it is possible. The problem is email still leaks what we call metadata, which is the high-level data we can encrypt, because at some point it's got to get from one point to another. And at the other side of it, those same tools are really hard to use right now. They're not user-friendly. So there's always a better way to send secure information than email. Even if it's less convenient, email just is not a secure way to deal with sensitive information. So number 4, public Wi-Fi. You're traveling, you're in the airport, you're in a Starbucks. You went to the Starbucks for the day to get some peace and quiet in a not quiet environment, whatever. But you're thinking about hooking up to a public Wi-Fi. These places are horrible from a security standpoint. So think about it this way. If you want to use that, or if you're in a situation where you have to use it, use a VPN to go along with it. Now, if you're operating on an APU-owned laptop, chances are we've got our VPN package installed already down there for you, and you can use that, and that will encrypt your traffic while it's on that public network. Okay. If you're using it for personal, there are personal VPN programs out there as well. In fact, I use one called ProXPN. That's PROXPN.com. And it serves the same purpose. It encrypts all of your traffic that's on the public Wi-Fi to whatever endpoint they have, and then it goes out through a normal channel. That protects you, because that way no one can sit there and sniff your traffic and see what you're doing or intercept your traffic by acting like a fake access point. So just another thing to think about, but again, it's not expensive. It is another step to take when you're connecting, but it's a good thing to do and helps protect your traffic. And for number 3, Holly, I know you're going to love this one, password managers.
Yes, my favorite. Well, right after social engineering.
So what do password managers do for us, Holly?
They store all of our passwords, and we only have to remember basically 2. Password to get into our computer and our password manager. And it remembers all the rest. So I don't, because I'm getting old. I just don't remember things anymore.
Well, the last time I checked mine, I'm managing over 400 entries in my password manager right now. And the neat thing about the password managers that we recommend LastPass and Dashlane, 2 major password managers out there. And then we've vetted both of those. But the neat thing about them is they handle secure notes. You can store your credit card information in there. There's a variety of things that you can store in there, not just username and password for websites. And they're growing. They're increasing their flexibility. So you have that secure place, that vault to store stuff. But password strength is going to be an important thing for that, isn't it, Holly?
Oh yeah, my password for my LastPass account is, I think, 28 characters long.
Nice.
Uppercase, lowercase.
Here at APU, how long can our passwords be?
Here at APU, we can have 32 character passwords.
Nice. Yeah, we need to talk to the guy who made that happen at some point.
Yeah, thank you for doing that, Shawn. And
that was the guys over the rest of the team in IMT that did that. They made that happen. We just, all we did was suggest it. They really are the ones that made it happen. So, to the rest of the folks in IMT, thank you very much for the work that you put into that.
Yeah, because the key with the passwords and what we've been talking about is not this idea of a password, but a passphrase. I guess this was my 2014 password, okay, Shawn, so don't get freaked out on me here. But in 2014, my password was "The Lord is the everlasting God!" exclamation point.
Right.
Very easy to remember. I used some special characters in there, and you did some substitutions that we talk about in our training class, but I didn't worry about my password, and I could always remember it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the great thing. I mean, it's when we talk about passphrases, they aren't necessarily that complex. I mean, you can do some simple substitutions, O's for zeros, dollar signs for S's, add exclamation points and question marks and those kinds of things. And while those don't seem like they're doing much, the combination of just those random characters in there or substitutions plus length makes the complexity go through the roof. And that's really what you want, because for a password cracker to come at it, or a password cracking tool, when they get that long and that complex, now you're rapidly going into the realm of not worth the trouble, and that's where you want to live. From a hacker standpoint, the more you're annoying to them, the better off you are.
Yeah, you don't want to be come across as you're invincible, because then you become a challenge.
Right.
You just want to be annoying.
Yeah, and they'll go somewhere else, because there's lots of other folks out there that are easier to work with.
Yeah, it really, password 234.
It's amazing. I mean, the top 10 worst passwords just keep showing up, the same ones year after year. And that's really sad. So, which leads us to number 2. Having a great passphrase out there is that's a strong step. Most companies out there have 2-factor authentication available now. So Google has it, Facebook has it. Most of your social media outlets or email outlets have some kind of 2-factor authentication. Now, we'll dig into exactly what the mechanics are of 2-factor, sometime later this year. But suffice it to say, they're all a little different depending on which company you're working with. So Google has their variation of it. Facebook does something slightly different. Twitter has something slightly different. So they all have a slightly different way of employing it. And it's worth investigating in it. But all those outlets have good explanations as to how to set them up and how they work. So it's a great extra layer of security it's kind of a bolt-on for your password, but it helps. And it ensures that if somebody has just your password, there's another hoop they have to jump through before they can actually do anything with your account, if they get access. So, and for this year, what do you think the number 1 is, Holly?
Oh, good grief. I looked at the list and now I don't remember. I could switch over your screens and look, but you could go ahead and just tell us. So.
Okay. So think about where we are. Everything's cloud-based now. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Pinterest, we've got Instagram, all these different social media outlets and email, and all these things kind of merge into one online world now. And with that are thousands and thousands of apps that can interact with various things or authenticate via one of these tools. And they all require some kind of permissions. Now, in our class, we talk about make sure you review the permissions that are on apps that you're letting on your phone. Well, that's broadened. Now we want you to look at the permissions you're allowing on anything. On your Facebook, on your Google Plus profile, on your Twitter, on your Pinterest, on your Instagram, whatever social media outlet you're engaged in, check the app permissions that interact with it. To give you some examples of for instance, Facebook, how they have that set up. With Facebook, you have the ability to, there we go, do what they call privacy checkup. And privacy checkup will go through each step. Your posts, what the primary audience is, your apps, and what permissions they have, and your profile. This is a great thing to go through, and the way Facebook has done this is really quite nice. I gotta give a hand, salute to them for this. This is one of their better iterations of this. Now, Google also has what they call a security checkup. Strongly recommend this. I just spent a few weeks helping a relative recover their Gmail account because they forgot the password. And the recovery info that they had in there hadn't been updated since 2006. So all those old channels for recovery info were long gone. Now, fortunately, we were able to figure out some of the ways that she had set up to access her account, but she was without her email for 3 weeks. And all of her financial stuff, all of that, the password reset for all of that was sending to her personal Gmail. So the loss of that account was huge because she was looking at having to contact over a dozen different places manually to update that information. And then the other one I wanted to show you guys was Pinterest. Pinterest also has, they have safe mode, they have account security and hacked accounts help, and limits and blocks. So all of the social media outlets out there have something. I just chose these as examples. But there's something out there for pretty much everyone on how you would secure or work securely with whatever outlet it is you're dealing with. So that's our top 10 for 2016. Holly, do we have any questions?
We do, actually. We have someone who is trying to download Pro XPN, and he gets a message indicating the download is blocked on the APU network.
So, yes, it is.
Way to go, Shawn!
But there are ways around that. The primary being do it at home. If you wanted to find out other ways of dealing with that, come see me in person.
So thank you for that question, and we'll chat with you later offline. Any other questions, any other tips that you've seen, want to share with us, feel free, go ahead and pop those in. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and we'll give people a chance to pop in any questions. I do encourage people, check out that privacy setting, especially in Facebook, because that just seems to be a playground for hackers. Today I was looking through some of our tickets on some of the types of phishing, and saw one that, and phishing is another method of social engineering. And it said from support@apu.edu, but then the actual email address was some random Gmail account. It wasn't even an APU account at all. And just reminding people, look at everything. Look at that from completely.
Yeah, because it's so easy, especially with email, it's so easy to spoof it, to make it look like it's from somewhere it's not, to fake the address even. So just be very, very, very cautious. And especially if somebody's asking you to click on a link, please, at least hover your mouse over the link and make sure you recognize where it's going. Because it'll pop up if you put your mouse over it. Depending on your browser, it may show up under the mouse or at the bottom of the screen, but it will show up somewhere.
And I also noticed that there was at least one person, possibly two, that had forwarded the password expiration email that we do send out. They had forwarded that to the support desk in asking, is this legitimate?
And we encourage that. If you see an email, even if you think it's legitimate, but you're not sure, ask.
Yes.
Folks at the support desk are trained in how to spot these things, and they do a great job at it. Reach out to them. They'll help.
We do have another question.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is there a good antivirus for iOS?
There's a few out there. Depends on what version of iOS you're running. But I would say come see me, and we can work out the best use case for you.
Cool.
There are several cross-platform antivirus tools out there that work on both Mac and Android. Yeah, I even found one that works on BlackBerry.
No way.
I know. I thought it was, I thought they were completely written off, but somebody apparently, had some heartfelt need to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one I am using on my Android. It is, I think, AVG. Yeah, AVG antivirus.
Yep. Yep.
And I actually, when Amazon used to do their free app of the day, that's when I was able to get it. So I ended up getting it for free. I think it's like a $7 app, but totally worth it.
Worth every penny. So, Holly, you and I have talked about this to some degree, and we've both gotten questions about this. Next month, what we're going to talk about is security in Windows 10. I've gotten a lot of questions of, is it secure? How do I set it up? What are the pitfalls? What are the risks? There's plenty of both, and we'll dig into that next month.
Sounds great. So with that, if you have any more questions, you know how to contact Shawn and I. We'd love to hear from you. And with that, I think we'll say goodbye. Thanks, Shawn.
Yep, absolutely.
Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day.